Hello and welcome to Biologically Speaking. This is Mugdha and I have with me Yuvashankar and Abhaydeep. Now, if you guys has heard our first episode, we spoke about the food pills and how it could change our future and how it could shape the nutritional field. How about we go a bit more deeper this time? Deeper into your biology. How about hack your biology? So there's this new thing that's coming up called biohacking. Now, what is biohacking, right? So biohacking is also called as do-it-yourself biology. It is basically the art and science of changing the environment around you and inside of you so that you have full control of your biology. Now, there are so many things that people do. Okay, they like take supplements or they do CRISPR-Cas9 editing on themselves, gene editing basically, or they do cryotherapy or neurofeedback. There's so many things going on. It's like the new fad. What do you guys think about it? What are your opinions on it?
Mugdha, when you told about CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing, right? So one thing it reminded me of was listening to Sumatra ma'am's classes. So when she was teaching, that's sort of the only segment that I was listening a lot because that made a lot of sense to me, right? So in my brain, it was like you can gene edit yourself to become whatever you want. You can get the powers of any animal. You can get the sight of an eagle, or you can get the wings of an eagle, or get the strength of a buffalo. I was like so intrigued by it, and I was thinking that maybe in the future, if I become a really good scientist, I'll probably mix up all the animal powers and put it into me and edit my genes into some superhuman person. So that was one of my very vivid imagination going on in the head when Sumatra ma'am was teaching.
The fact that you said there are you want to mix up animal genes, right, reminds me of all these Greek animals. If you remember Greek mythology, there's this Taurus and people like that. So do you wish to be one of them?
I don't mind, dude. I don't mind becoming a fawn or a mermaid, or I don't know. Like mermaid would be more interesting because we haven't really explored the ocean, right? So I want to be someone who's getting into the ocean also.
You mean merman? Please don't change your gender for these things, yeah?
Yeah, of course, merman, not mermaid.
Right. So, but when we think about gene editing, right? Like, what is the prominent approach that one uses nowadays?
Yeah, as Shankar was asking, what is a very prominent way of doing this gene editing, right? So one very prominent method is your CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing. So it is also come in shows like Unnatural Selections, and it's a very proclaimed method or technique for gene editing. So let me just explain to you what is this entire technique of gene editing with the help of CRISPR-Cas9, right? So what we do is you have a DNA, so that your DNA structure is there, and you want to cut a segment of your DNA. So to cut this segment, what we do is we find a complementary strand or complementary RNA to this segment of the DNA that you want to cut. So this is called a guide RNA, and this guide RNA is then attached to your Cas9 protein. So your Cas9 protein is your splicer protein, or it's the protein that's going to cut your DNA. So now you have your structure with your Cas9 and your guide RNA, which are injecting into your cell. So that guide RNA goes and attaches to your DNA segment that you want to splice, and your Cas9 protein is what is going to splice your DNA. So now you'll have a segment that is a void segment where you don't have any base pairs in that segment. So one thing that might happen is your DNA mechanism will kick in, and this entire part will again get attached with different base pairs. Or you can make a synthesized DNA. So that is where your gene editing comes, right? So this synthesized DNA, we can add any sort of base pairs, or you can code it to anything so that it can probably produce a very different protein or the protein that you want. And this edited or synthesized segment is what you can attach it in this region. And yeah, this entire DNA will be a little more edited, or it can cater to what you need.
Right. But one has to wonder, right? Like gene editing mechanisms, I don't know. Do they actually use in places anywhere other than academic institutions and big pharmaceutical companies and hospitals?
Yeah, so like when you talk about the biohacker scene, right, and how CRISPR-Cas9 gene technology or gene editing technology is being used in this biohacker scene. So one very prominent name that we are seeing nowadays is Josiah Zeidel. So about his background, right? So Josiah is actually a former NASA scientist who used to work on bacteria cultures for sustainable living in other planets and in space. And also he has a PhD in biophysics. So his entire mind or entire thinking process of taking this technology was to democratize it. So he wanted to take this technology and give it to all the lay people or common public, so that everyone can do it in their backyard or their garage, or it's going to be very easy. It's going to be like a common thing, like a routine thing. So he started a company called Odin. So what essentially Odin is not a very big pharmaceutical company or a very high-based company. It's a company that he started in his garage, and what he does is he takes enzymes and bacteria and most probably the CRISPR-Cas9 protein. So he packs them up and then he sends it to various people around the world, whoever are interested in gene editing or whoever wants to do this gene editing process. So he's been doing it thinking that a change like this with the help of gene editing will not necessarily be from very big labs. Rather, people who are common or who really don't have that much of knowledge about gene editing will sort of try doing these experiments and bring about a very big change in the society or the nation or anything like that.
Right. But don't you think like this gives a lot of power to the people like who have no knowledge about
it? Coming to power, right? So that's what. So he's got a lot of backlash. The government, when they actually came to know that he was doing this thing, right? So what they first thought was like, why would common people have such a big power? So one thing that the German government especially did was it banned all the kits that were coming from Josiah Zeidel, and also the gene editing kits that were coming from US. Plus, they also sort of banned all the gene editing that was done in their country that was not conventional, or that was done in their backyards or in their garages. So only the certified labs or the certified genomic labs were able to do this CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing and stuff like that.
Yeah, as you mentioned it, there's a lot of, I think it's more dangerous if you give this to the people's hand, right? Whatever, you can treat yourself or something. Because even I came across this story where one of the she runs a genetic lab. Okay, her name is Dr. Ellen. So she says that that people started writing to her and saying that, okay, please treat my child of this disease, this genetic disease or this autoimmune disease, because there's no proper treatments available. But since Zayner claimed that you can just inject yourself and gene edit, so then you can cure the diseases and all. It's kind of giving a false hope to people, right? It's like saying that, oh, you can treat any disease in the world kind of hope, which is not possible with the present technology. So I don't think at least in the present state you shouldn't push for these kind of experiments. At least I'm saying present technology, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with you that common people should not be getting it. Rather, people who have a lot of experience or people who are really doing a lot of research, they should get more access to such technologies.
Correct. This is in the more commercial level, right? So, but is there any proper research going on, with proper scientific approach? We can say a more thing should be done on lab. Is there any proper research going on?
Let's take a step back from CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing, because that's a lot complex, and trying to get the right results takes quite a long time. Instead, let's take a very preliminary approach of having pills. So what I found out was that a lot of aging-related issues, right, is caused by this decrease of a certain coenzyme called NAD+, or nucleodiamide adenine dinucleoside. So what this essentially does is it's involved in a lot of reactions all throughout your body, whether it's your brain activity or your metabolism or regular functioning and growth of your human tissues. So now what scientists have thought was, why not artificially provide ourselves with NAD+, just like how we take in multivitamins and stuff like that, right? One such company who's currently doing this is called Nushido Time Plus. Right now, since it started just a few years back, they just first tried to run a trial with about 16 to 20 people by giving them regular supplements of NAD plus pills. And what they found out was that there was about 242% increase over the period of time when they were fed. And the patients actually felt good after they had taken this entire procedure. So now what they're trying to do is they're trying to actually conduct a complete medical trial, like right from start, like from the FDA approval and stuff like that, and get with proper results so that this becomes more concrete.
So, Shankar, when you were telling that people were feeling good, right? So, I was just having this thought in my mind that what if this entire process is just a placebo effect, right? Like, what if people are having all these good thoughts in their head, or maybe taking a pill might make them feel better, but in reality, I don't think anything is happening. So, that might happen, right?
Yeah, definitely. So this is one concern, a lot of people have when it comes to any kind of supplements that you take, whether it's vitamins or whether it's NAD plus. So, but one big difference for NAD plus is that it has already been proven in like a lot of previous studies that it definitely has a strong impact in your growth, growth related biopathways. And one more story, I was reading was about a footballer who, started taking this NAD plus supplements, but from a different company called Nudovim. So what this guy used to do is he takes supplements pre-season, so before the before the football league started, and when he trains really hard, right? After 2 weeks of doing this NAD plus procedure, what happened was he says he can run far better, longer, and he can already feel like a lot of cognitive sense improving within him, like the brain function, and he feels that he's a lot more focused when he consumes these NAD plus tablets. So definitely there's a lot more hope in NAD plus tablets.
Yeah, that might be there, but I think a lot of research should be taking place, and then probably a lot more has to be learned about how this is acting upon our body and how it's making it better, right? But nowadays, like, don't you have something that is much more towards the public, right? Like, much more easier to get or easily accessible? Like, don't we have a method to do biohacking for lay people or people who are not into research or big laboratories and working in those places, right? So I want to know if that can be actually possible.
Actually, to bring light into this, there's actually already been work already done in a way that there are a lot of techies, all these Silicon Valley techies, they've all tried biohacking and they have been practicing as a part of their life. And I think this whole revolution started with a person called Dave Asprey. So he's also like dubbed as the father of biohacking. So he founded this company called Bulletproof. So he started one of the major component of it is called Bulletproof Coffee. Now, what is different in this coffee is that it's made from unsalted butter. So he says that it can improve your cognition and weight loss and those kind of things. And he says that it's a very healthy alternative and you can live long if you follow this diet. Now, that's what, again, there are mixed opinions on these things, but a lot of biohackers do believe in this diet and they follow it till date. So, there's another techie that I came across. His name is Serge Faguin. Now, he's he's a millionaire. He spends thousands of dollars on these biohacks that he has tried. So he has tried a lot of things, other than supplements, and he has done cryo-therapy and he takes part in infra-red light and all. But one of the major things that came as a surprise to me is the amount of pills that he takes. So he takes about 60 pills a day, and they're their range of pills, from your garlic capsules to antidepressants to your thyroid hormones. He takes a lot of pills that's not necessary in general. but no, he believes that he will maintain a very healthy lifestyle if he takes all those pills.
He reminds me of, like how our grandparents take a lot of pills. Like, does he even eat like normal food?
See, I think our grandpas would take lesser pills than him, I guess. Like 60 pills a day, I don't think our grandpas take so many. Plus, yeah, as you mentioned, the food, right? So their diets are really weird. Okay, so especially Serge Faguet, and there was one more controversial person. So the Twitter CEO, basically Jack Dorsey, even he became really viral at a point because of his diet methods. So they like eat a meal a day, and then they fast in the weekends and all. So it's like there's no food for continuous 2 days and all. So this is termed technically as intermittent fasting, so it's also a part of biohacking. But again, there were a lot of mixed opinions. There were certain people who actually believed that it helped them, it gave them a lot of health benefits and all. It made them feel good.
Yeah, so you're talking about intermittent fasting, right? So I had a friend in NCBS who used to do this entire technique of intermittent fasting and things like that. So what she used to do is at around 7 p.m. in the evening, right? She has fruits, like a bowl of fruits as her dinner. And then after that meal, she starts fasting. So she fasts till the next day, 1 o'clock, which is till lunchtime. And then during lunch, right? So we used to sit with her and eat like our lunch and every day. So what she used to do was she used to take a bowl of curd and put chia seeds in them, mix it well, and have that for lunch. Like for the first time, when me and my other partner who used to work in NCBS looked at her food habits and all, we were like, what is she actually doing? Is she actually getting the proper nutrition that she requires? So yeah, this was a little weird, but now that I know she's actually going through the path of biohacking or hacking her body into betterness or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't know, bro. Like, this seems like a lot of work, right? Like, does she actually? Because my biggest concern is like a human requires a certain amount of calories, like no matter what. So when you try to cut down a lot of it, and you claim that you feel like a lot smarter and faster and fitter, right? That seems like more of a placebo effect, like you had mentioned before.
Still, again, no, as UV mentioned, like if it's like less than like 1,000 calories and all, you may initially in the few days you may feel energetic or whatever, but over the time maybe your bodies will not be accustomed to it. Like it'll need more energy in the future. I would say maybe your body will face a lot of problems. Like I even read across this article where like few doctors and psychiatrists and all, no, they told like it's more like a eating disorder that's masked as in biohacking. So that eating it's being so common nowadays, eating disorders and all. So they're just saying, oh, we're doing biohacking, and they're just covering it up. Now that's again, we don't know that thin line, right, where the problem ends and where biohacking starts.
Yeah, like Mugdha said, right? There's good and bad in everything, like that one has to remember. But we have to be like proud that as a human civilization, we've come so far to a level where we can actually reprogram the code of life itself. And with that, I would like to conclude by saying,
Wait. What if this is not the end of biohacking? What if the biohackers have taken this entire biohacking to the next level and want to
unleash the cyborg within? Well, to know more, stay tuned for the next episode of Biohacking, only on Biologically Speaking.